Good afternoon, YouTube. I'm Fidelis Nuka II. Today we'll be talking about why you should not be fake. I'll jump right in. You always get back what you put out. That's a universal law. If you're going to get back what you put out, you must understand that what you're attracting to you in terms of life experience is exactly how you see yourself in the mirror. Let me explain why you should never be a fake person. Because what happens is all of a sudden our lives are being driven by artificial experiences. And this is what the concept I believe people are missing. Okay? There's two primary words that are going to keep you at bay. And actually three primary words, There's three primary words. The first one is vulnerability. The second one is accountability. The third one is transparency. If you don't have a mixture of those three things, all three of them, you don't have authenticity. You're never actually going to be the person whom you say you are. Okay? This is why this is so important. So, I'll start by defining the two words we're going to learn about today, which is artificial and experience. Now, we're used to the word artificial intelligence because not everything, but the majority of industries, major ones, at least in this world, or on this planet at this moment in time, are being driven or being run by artificial intelligence because they're able to do simple things, simplistic things. They're able to program certain things in certain ways and have algorithms or whatever codes that people can use to build systems that people can use. That's great. That does not determine the fate or the actual experience of the person. That person's perception and perspective does. Okay? So here's the issue. The issue that I believe is the problem is literally people are using artificial experiences to attempt to make connections. Think about it. There's so many people who are so disconnected from their actual selves. That's because their experiences aren't even real. So why are you even here in a third dimension perspective? Think about dimensions in terms of perspectives. You have first dimension perspective. That's everything in terms of a unification. You have second dimension perspective. That's just a duality, a positive and a negative, right, left. You have two sides to everything. You have acidity, you have alkalinity. You see what I'm saying? If you can look at yourself and say, on a third dimension perspective, I'm supposed to be here for experience because I'm focused on the spirit, the soul, the body. You're focused on sound, frequency, and vibration. It's a trinity, but the trinity that you're going through is carrying through your life experiences. So, think about this. The word artificial means produced by humans. Produced by humans. That's the word artificial. The actual definition in full is produced by humans rather than being occurring naturally. The second definition is contrived or false. Third one, insincere or affected. Basically saying this is a copy of something natural. That's what artificial means. You hear artificial in terms of processed food, artificial sugar, artificial sweetener. Are you seeing where I'm going with this? You can be fake and you can pass in terms of society, but you can't pass energetically. It doesn't work. So this definition of artificial, meaning produced by humans, that means humans produced your spirit, humans produced your soul, humans produced your body. But that's not true. God, the creator, the universal mind, the one that we're all connected to, that's who produced us. So if the creator produced us, why do you think it's okay for you to go out amongst other people and fake your life experience. It doesn't work, because sooner or later you actually get exposed for how fake you were. The word experience is defined as practical contact with an observation of facts or events. It's a noun. This is the noun definition. It's also defined as the knowledge or skill acquired by experience over a period of time, especially that gained in a particular profession by someone at work. It's like an example. It's also an event or an occurrence that leaves an impression on someone. And as a verb, experience means encounter or undergo an event or occurrence, or the most important one, I believe, it means to feel an emotion. To feel an emotion is the most important definition. So think about this if you combine this definition of the word artificial, or the words artificial experience. You have feelings and emotions, essentially, that were produced by humans. So you have insincere or affected feelings and emotions, because you have to feel the raw emotion. If you combine these both, it basically says that you're encountering or undergoing an artificial event that was produced by humans. You aren't experiencing nature. So what do you think is going to happen if you continue to live so far away from yourself? And I'm talking to everyone, not just people with $1 billion inside their pocket, not people with $100 inside their bank account, not people with Fortune 500 companies, not people with living in poverty, living homeless on the street. You set your own laws, and unfortunately for you, those laws don't exist because they don't govern the whole. You have to look at yourself, and you either have to figure out what you're getting back is what you're putting out, or you'll continue to blame on the outside any and everyone for your experience of life, even though you're the one that created it. Now you hear fake it till you make it. This is the thing about faking it till you make it. Whenever you fake it till you make it, that basically means that you are consciously aware that you have not made it yet. All you're doing is you're going through the process, the raw process of the actual experience, and you are feeling the raw emotion of that experience that you are in, knowing that you have not actually made it yet. You are crossing the finish line, but you are feeling the feeling that you have done that. But it's not stopping you from continuing to put one foot in front of the other and march yourself forward. When you fake it until you make it, if I am saying I'm going to be a professional at whatever thing I'm doing, I have to do the thing in the manner that I desire to end up at. I may not be a professional right now today, but I have to act like one, and I have to put myself in the fire, and I have to stand there and say, I have to deliver myself through this. Because if I don't deliver myself through this, if I don't work as if I'm the person right now today, I'll never be at that person today. And let me show you how this works. Most people have a problem with this, but you can't have a problem with this. You have to actually accept this, is that there's levels to life. There's levels. And if you look at how, say you're climbing a ladder. Here's the ladder. Here's your ladder right here. Let me just put these things. Here's your simple ladder. I'll call it the life ladder. Here's your life ladder. And at each step on the life ladder, there is a certain level of income, there's a certain level of love, a certain level of opportunity, a certain level of security, a certain level of awareness. I could name a dozen things, but at each level, you have all of these things at each level. And each one of these is attached. So all of a sudden, every step that you go through in life, you have a different income, a different love, a different opportunity, a different security, a different awareness. I'll put relationships because that's one of the primary things we'll talk about right now, because I believe there's too much fakeness in relationships. I've had to experience this. And mainly it was because I didn't understand the life ladder. The life ladder is alchemical, okay? Alchemical. Life, to me, is all an alchemical process. If I can figure out how to change my chemicals, my biochemistry, I can experience life differently, 100%. And that is because you live and you reside in a plasma universe. Well, where's plasma? My blood. Blood, literally, my blood. 55% of my blood is plasma. 92% of that plasma is water. Only 8% is the vital minerals and nutrients that are dissolved inside that water. So water is also memory. Therefore, look at your brain as a record of your past. But it's a record of your past experiences because you had to feel an emotion from each experience that you got. You created a chemical structure, and that chemical structure was at a step on your life ladder. So you can be at the bottom of your ladder, and that's because the chemicals that are expressed inside of your blood plasma are negative. So let's look at it in terms of attitude. Negative attitude. This is bad chemicals. Negative at this step 2, negative at this step 2. And it doesn't start to turn over where here you become positive. Here you become positive too. But let me tell you, the goal isn't for you to be positive. The goal is for you to be neutral, because neutral is life. I'm the founder of the Alkalign Lifestyle Institute for Quantum Healing. The word alkalign is split into 2 words. So how I split this in was the word first, alkalign, ending in A-L-I-N-E. That stands for the energy based on pH. So that is a neutral pH. That is 7.35 to 7.55. That is the neutral. That's the alkaline energy. You either want to be alkaline or you want to be acidic. You want to be alkaline because alkaline is the energy that alkalizes your body. That's how your human battery functions. On the opposite end, that combined with the word alkaline, is the word alignment. Alignment is your 7 chakras, which are energy wheels. You have 9 centers of energy. You have 9 centers, you have 7 chakras. Chakras are actually glands, particular glands inside your body. You'll have, say, your thymus gland in your heart. You'll have the solar plexus, which is, you can combine it with the pancreas and the liver and your stomach. You can have your gut. You can have your sacral, which is a sacral bone at the end of your spine. You can have the root, which is your genitals, which would be the testes and the ovaries. These are actually organs and glands that function inside a human body. These are combined to make the word alkalign. The word after that is lifestyle. The word lifestyle, in this case, stands for personality, because your personality is what creates your personal reality. I want a neutral, balanced, in every one of my centers of energy, personality, because that creates the word coherence. When you have coherence, coherence is the ultimate goal when you are in this three-dimensional perspective of life. When you go through your entire life, all you are attempting to do is stay balanced, not get too high, not get too low. Because if you go towards one side, you have to get pushed back towards the center line. It doesn't matter what you do. If you get too high on yourself from the outside and start to celebrate yourself or over-celebrate or overstimulate yourself, you're gonna burn out. If you also get too low, you're eventually gonna get too depressed, too anxious, and jump off a cliff. You'll unalive yourself in either fashion, which you do not want to do. So in this case, say we're talking about relationships. If you have an artificial experience in terms of relationships, that means that the person that you are drawing into you is literally a person that is living from society's perspective, not a godly perspective. They don't feel any emotions. They fake everything. They can't encounter or undergo any events that leaves an impression on anybody. Therefore, say you're trying to confront somebody, or something to say, how are you feeling? And then they begin to talk to you, and all of a sudden, there's triggering that is occurring. The reason being is because somebody's lying. That's essentially what you can say. All right? Like attracts like. So if your partner is fake, if your partner has wears wigs, if your partner has fake lips, if your partner has Botox, if your partner has any kind of body part or any type of thing, fake hair coloring, whatever that they have, they're living from the outside in. So men, do not complain when your lady has a BBL or something, because I guarantee the energy that you're emitting is also fake. That's why you have a partner who's literally expressing outwardly fake parts. It's because you're fake. You don't tell the truth. That's how it works. So say you're talking about your awareness. You're walking around knowing that you're in a problem, knowing that your intuition is telling you that this isn't where you're supposed to be, but you continue to do it because maybe you're saying yes when you're supposed to say no. That's another thing. Here's how your shadow principle works. You've been hearing a lot of Carl Jungian psychology where people talking about shadow work and integration and individuation. You can't have individuation if you don't first have vulnerability. And you don't second have accountability for what you're putting out. And third, you're not transparent. Because the entire time, you're basically living in fear of other people. There is no individuation when you're afraid of other people. It doesn't make sense. So then, third, security. You don't have security. You don't have actual security. You're seeking security from the outside. It's like people who have a W-2 job, they're an employee. They think that the security is coming from the check that they're receiving from week to week. But at any moment in time, if somebody's doing a better job, I guarantee they can replace you in an instant. I had a goal to be a professional athlete, to go to the NBA, to be on people's TV screens and everything and just celebrate my success as an athlete. I didn't understand the business of professional sports till I actually got into professional sports. And I realized this sucks, I actually like this. Not that I wasn't great, not that I couldn't play, just that I thought to myself, this is actually not how I want to live my life. I'm just a glorified employee that gets taxed a lot. It doesn't mean that, in some cases, people don't inspire to do great things, because I learned so much just from going through the process. I never made it. And it's not that I'm happy about it or sad about it. I'm neutral to it. But I'm happy I went through the process, because I learned self-discipline. I learned how to go into places and do my very, very best, and also get punched in the face. Not really punched in the face, but I got punched in the face to where I had to be able to challenge myself, to be able to put myself back up and show up every single day, because that's what it takes whenever you're a professional athlete. I had to realize that opportunities came just because of my way of changing my attitude, but also by my way of showing up in a vulnerable place, in an accountable place, and in a transparent place. All money is not good money. So please realize that some of the money that you can receive is fraudulent. I had an issue where 4 to 5 years ago, I was looking for funding, seeking funding, and all I found was scammers and fraudulent people, and that's because I was going to get, I'm seeking funding for something that I'm not even doing yet. I hadn't even been through the experience to say I qualify for this. And the only person that knew that was me. You can ask for things and you can request things, but you have to be sure of yourself. 100% I was not. So I got played. Heavily I got played. Which to this day, I'm grateful for that entire experience that I had to go through. Because that showed me, do not attempt to look wealthy or look rich or look intelligent when you didn't actually go through the process of getting those things. You're gonna be exposed. Love, you cannot produce an artificial love. There's no love that can come from you to anyone on the outside unless you first show that love towards yourself on the inside. That means in terms of your self-care, you have to think of yourself as a statue that you need to polish up every single day. And if you don't take care of polishing that statue every single day and expressing and taking pictures and celebrating it, and that's what co-creation is. That's what compassion is. It's sharing the passion for myself. It's me celebrating the fact that God placed me here and made me this divine being and made me this special person with so much energy and so much light and so much joy. And I have to be the person that goes out and celebrates that in this happy place. That's why. And so once I understood that that was my ultimate goal, I looked at myself differently, where the only person that I can be is myself. I cannot be anybody else and actually be able to go to sleep at night and think that I'm doing the right thing. I'm only gonna draw somebody else who's mirroring and mimicking the same energy expression that I'm putting out. That's not unconditional love. I don't want conditions in the way that I love myself. There's no conditions. There's every single day, I'm going to do my very, very best. And before I go to sleep, I do a daily reflection. How did I feel today? Was there anything negative today? Did I have any negative thoughts today? Can I change those? What evidence do I have to say it's right and say it's wrong? Whatever it is, I can do a better job every time I close my eyes and die and open my eyes and I wake up and I'm alive again. That's how it works. You've got to show yourself unconditional love. Okay? And then lastly, your income. Your income's going to affect, because you'll have some fake income. Believe me, I had that. You can sit there and say, I'm worth this much, but you suddenly don't feel like you're actually worth this much. Now you got this imposter syndrome, but you realize that money is actually just something that's made up. It's made up. So if you actually truly believe that your value is this much, what you should focus on is being priceless, where somebody can't put a stamp on you, because you don't go in comparison mode. Everything that I was doing when I first began as an entrepreneur, I was going in comparison mode. What does this person do in this category that I'm in? How much do they make in this category that I'm in? Finally, I was like, I don't care about how much these people do. I want to know how much I can do. I'm going to set the bar at this much. What do I need to do that? And you ask the creator, it gives you an answer. Believe in whatever you are offering. Believe in whatever you're putting out, because if you're putting out these artificial experiences, you are faking the feeling of emotions and you're never going to actually go through the process. You'll stay over and over again looking for short-term solutions, and you'll never find a long-term solution to actually grow your tree and bear some fruit. It can't happen. So remember these things. when you decide to be a fake person, like attracts like. It ain't no opposites attract. It's like attracts like. Okay, so whatever you like, you're gonna see people who are gonna be around you that have the same preference as you. You all have the same preference, that's why you're gonna be in the same space. So your relationships are predicated on what do you like. You should probably be authentic enough to tell the truth and say what you really like. Because eventually, if the person around you, or people around you, are criminals, and you're desiring to be a conscious billionaire that's serving and impacting the planet in a great way, the criminals aren't going to be in alignment with you. So you're probably going to have to pick a different set of friends. Most people never make it along the ladder. They never raise themselves up along the ladder because of the simple fact they don't get rid of the bad energies that are keeping them down, that are keeping them in a lower vibration, keeping them in a less than perspective, in a less than place, lesser than their actual selves. Don't lie. That's the next step. Don't lie. Every time that you lie, you separate yourself from yourself. The reason people don't have as much confidence as they could have is because they tell themselves, today I'm going to start, and then by 11:30 p.m. at night, they realize they didn't do anything and they say, maybe tomorrow. Each time that you claim and you never actually do it now, you lose a connection with yourself. You had an opportunity to gain confidence and you didn't do it. You didn't write it down. That's the main thing for everybody to do, is to write down the goals and actually write down their next perspective of themselves. Self-image is just a perspective, it's just a goal. And you need to be able to write that goal down in detail for you to go achieve it. If you don't actually know it in clarity, you can't go to achieve it. So don't lie. Don't lie when somebody asks you to go somewhere that you don't want to go and you say yes, but you should have said no. Don't lie whenever. I'm plant-based for the last 8 years of my life. I'm 42 years old, fully plant-based since age 34, 2017. April 2017. I haven't eaten any meat. Somebody offers it to me, I'll respectfully say, no thank you. That's not part of my lifestyle. And I don't have a problem saying that. If I went to go consume a burger or some steak because someone offered it to me and I am afraid of being disliked by other people and I eat it, knowing I'm gonna feel like crap, I just separated myself from myself. Now I'm not living with integrity. So people who go to these parties or go to clubs and they try to go fit in, don't fit in. Don't do that, okay? Because you gotta look at this and say, a person that is attempting to fit in just lost themselves. That's why you don't have the concept of individuation, because you're attempting to fit in to someone else's group. Just fit into yourself. You'll find your tribe. Look at my shirt on the back. Raise your vibe and upgrade your tribe. If you don't raise your vibe, you're gonna stay at the low end of the spectrum. You need to raise your vibe to upgrade. Be vulnerable, okay? Stop doing the fake strength. That's another thing that's the problem. People who have the fake strength, people who claim that they're strong when they're not strong, those are the ones that are the sickest people that you're ever gonna see. They bottle everything up energetically on the inside, and that's why they never make it out. Because they're never vulnerable enough to say, I need help. Because the Creator is everything. Everyone. They're on the same level of the radio station that it's giving us all the same information. You need to sit there and say, I don't know sometimes. And many times I was afraid to say I don't know, because I was entangled with people who didn't do that. And it was affecting me. I was looking at myself, being self-conscious of myself and thinking I'm lesser than if I'm asking for help. That's not true, okay?
Join us now in the first floor community meeting room for a screening of the 2017 film Marshall, starring Chadwick Boseman. See you there.
So if you can look at yourself in a different perspective and say that all I have to do is be vulnerable, and I guarantee I'll climb the ladder even faster. Because you can look at the world with two sides. Everyone's your enemy, everyone's your comrade. I aim to look at the world as everyone is my comrade. Lastly, just be transparent. No one has to pry information from you to figure out whom you really are. If you're being authentic and being vulnerable and really being yourself, you'll draw in everyone around you who is the same way. That's what being transparent is. You can see right through me. I'm not hiding anything. There's nothing for me to hide. I'm here to serve other people. I'm here to enjoy my experience of life. I'm only here for experience. That's why we're all here. We're here for experience, just experience. And if you can think of it in that perspective, you start living instead of living in a way where you're surviving. There's no more survival. You don't have to survive. The only truth that we all know, that we need to know, is that eventually we're gonna die. So why not just live for today, the way that the Creator gave us the opportunity to do so? Live for today. I guarantee when you make the actual decision to do what you desire to do for yourself, it'll shift your entire world inside your head. And the way that you give yourself out to the world will change. Everyone's free to create their world the way that they want to, if they know that the world is responding to you. When you know it's responding to you, you change what you're putting out. If you guys are interested in detoxifying your cells, changing your life, reprogramming your subconscious mind, click the link in my description below. You'll see my one-on-one coaching programs. Also, you'll see my 2 formulas, Awaken and Replenish, 2 herbal formulas that cleanse your cells out. And also, lastly, you will see, if you're looking for a VIP retreat experience, we'll be having our first retreat in October of this year, probably in Ojai or West Malibu, California. And if you're looking for a VIP experience, calm, cool, collected, reprogramming your mind, also reprogramming your body, come out. Until then, peace.